Let me go ahead and unmute my microphone. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roll With It Behind the Rolls, episode 11 recap. Highlight, I have a Sin on there, but he's not on there yet.
It's okay. I just fired him.
Oh, he's fired. Uh-oh.
We'll see.
We'll
Hi,
see.
everyone.
I'm going to hide him just out of pettiness. There's an empty chair.
There you go.
How you doing today, Blake?
I'm all right. How about you?
Tired. So tired. But that's what I get for having like 3 consecutive nights of like late nights.
And whose fault is that?
I want to say yours, but I can't.
Nope, can't do that. Sorry.
It's nobody's fault but my own. Today we're recapping yesterday's session, which was a fun one. How did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, I kind of felt like we went into it a bit like lower energy. I think the group was slightly like getting back into it. We took 1 week off and it threw us off. And
I don't know what you're talking about. I got right back into it.
You got right back into it. But you know, everybody kind of like fell in at the last minute too. It was just like, okay, now we're in it. And then but all of a sudden, you know, like with you as the DM, the story just took off and we just picked right back up where we were. And it was like we didn't miss a week.
No. So just like basically to recap. They went from fighting to getting drunk. And so they had to basically kind of come back to that point yesterday. So kind of like reminding everybody that, oh, I am hungover. Because some of them had a bit to drink, and so I had to basically put them in that spot. Then Lauren and Euphemia had a dream, which they kept to themselves. And then they had kind of like
do you want to talk about the dream real quick?
Yeah, so basically both Lauren and Euphemia had a dream, and they witness a bunch of water elementals, from like the tiniest one that can fit in your palm to like the largest one up a mountain. And there was this woman that was talking to him, and this woman was basically saying, you know, you have a choice and a chance and hope, and if you decide to do this will be something for you guys basically to decide, kind of thing. So it kind of left a little mystery on it, because, you know, it was them, but at the same time, you know, they didn't talk about it. So
yeah, no, I think we were all kind of hating our lives when we woke up. Some of us more than others. And I think at this point where I was going with Vorn was, since the events of the Water Temple, he's had some rough nights, you know? So for him, it was like one of those things that he's just trying to ignore. Like, if I don't pay attention to it, it'll go away eventually. And that's probably the wrong mindset. But that's kind of where he's at. And eventually he's going to have to talk to somebody about it if it's really weighing him down. But yeah. And then after that, well, I mean, we were all kind of feeling shitty, but there was somebody feeling very shitty about other things, and that was Celeste. she was going through some sort of existential crisis. But I mean,
Yeah.
she kind of was, but kind of wasn't. It was more about like, it was more of an emotional breakdown, I would say. um, about like about belonging and about her self worth, and
Hmm.
I think it was really interesting because it's all perspective. I think that that's something that's come up so much in our campaign. How everything can be subjective and everything can be seen differently from a different perspective. It's
Hmm.
um and with her, well, she was really struggling with what she what her life was worth to us and what she meant to us like in the group. Um and not just that, I mean, if she's been on the run and struggling, being alone and stuff like that, then all that shit kind of adds up and stacks up.
Hmm.
So,
And yeah, her life was on the line. She was
mhm,
basically getting choked and burned at the same time, so it was torture. And at the same time, she's trying to remove this. It's more how I describe like a water slash acid hand around her throat.
mhm,
And so the more that somebody kept saying, "No, you drop her. No, you do this. No, you do that," more of her, basically her life force was like leaving.
mhm.
And so that's what she was hearing. And that that's torture right there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's all shit that's gonna haunt her for a while.
Hmm.
Because she'll have that memory or that that feeling, um, that whenever she is caught off guard, she's gonna remember that and it's gonna haunt her. And those words are gonna haunt her whenever
Hmm.
anything happens that brings it up. Um, but I think it's cool character development, not just for herself, but for her within the group as well. Um,
Hmm.
because it put everyone in a situation where we had to take a step back and talk about it. Um, we all have to kind of assess what happened and whether we were wrong or not, or it doesn't really even matter if we were wrong or not, you know?
Hmm.
Um, because what matters is that it happened. We have no idea what could have happened.
Hmm.
And I think she also understood that, which was nice. But how do you think the conversation between Celeste and Magpie differed than the conversation between her and Warren?
I think with the approach of Magpie, how she said, "Oh, so you're doing the same thing I'm doing,"
Hmm.
and her response was, "Well, at least I eat."
Yeah.
Um, I think if she kind of did it maybe differently, then the conversation would have been differently. But just how she kind of Magpie kind of compared herself, in that situation. Um, at this point, Celeste, yeah, wanted to be alone. Just, you know, drinking some soup, trying because, her throat hurts.
Hmm.
She didn't want to face you guys because on like the conversation, like everybody was having a good time without her. Um, and yeah, of course, people kept saying it's like we wanted you to rest and everything, but at the same time, Warren and the family could have rested. They almost died. So it's a different perspective, different points of view. And of course, having the whole, uh, quote unquote, elemental queen saying in her head, "Oh, see, they don't want you. They don't want you.
Yeah, it was
This
just
is what's happening."
adding
Hmm.
fuel to the fire.
Yeah. So, um, and then the approach with Warren, it was more uh like, well, he was hyper, so that threw her off guard,
Mhm.
and it was like her trying to spin, her head around, like, wait, what is he saying? Why is he talking so fast? Why, and then so that conversation was a little bit more easier,
Yeah, because it kind
because it was thrown off
of
guard.
exactly it knocked her off her guard
Hmm.
because she didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she would have been content just to be where she was at.
Right. And then I think it was good that during that time, luckily, the effects started wearing off
Hmm.
because I don't think it would have gone well had he just kept going.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have given her like a moment to talk. I don't think he would have like listened as well. Um, and so the timing just happened to work out.
Hmm.
That was really fun to play though. And the the circumstances with like the group and him just like rushing out of the room and speeding past. I could just see a Bourne running down the hall for no fucking reason.
So basically, majority of the party was hungover, and so the captain told Cookie, who's the cook of the ship, to make the special tea. And so some of them took sips at it slowly, tastes like had like cinnamon and rose, and I can't remember the first ingredient, but so they tasted that, and of course it had like a bitter taste at the end. So basically it was an special shot. And Warren, aka Brick, decided just to down it. And so that activated a 10-minute plus 10 to his speed. So his speed went from 40 to 50, and he was zooming around. So that's why he was really talking fast and stuff. So
Yeah, that was okay. I think he was afraid that he was gonna vomit it. So he's
mm,
like, if he was going to vomit it, he might as well just drink the whole thing at once.
mhm.
Um, and and that's why he was like, just shoot it back and see what happens. Um, and then it was like, ooh, okay, this is a magic drink.
Yes. Introducing special shot to to the party. It's
Yeah.
fun.
And then so after that conversation, he managed to convince her to go back to talk to the group. Um, we had a bit of a conversation. Everybody kind of aired out their thoughts. Um, do you think that hearing everybody else out changed anything in her, or was she doing it like politically, or like at least to mend a bridge for the time being?
You don't know. uh, Celesti's thought process is going to be, how do I say this? She needs to find herself. She needs to find
Hmm.
her center again. And listening beforehand, which Victor, I wish you were here, um, was basically kind of like, I guess, arguing, like, well, everybody's going to go through this. Everybody's going to die. Everybody, blah, 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 kind
Yeah.
of thing. And I know, like, with Magpie's trying to be like, no, you got to look at her point of view. And I think he was like saying, like, basically look at everybody else's point of view. I know Euphemia kind of said not something similar, but more of a lighter tone versus Victor because it sounded like a little bit harsh. Which him, he he understood he understands kind of like, I think he quoted like a villain kind of point of view.
Yeah.
Um and but at the same time, all villains are not the same. So yeah, there is those what ifs moments, okay? But going from now to what she spoke and what she said, uh that could um maybe soften the tone
Yeah.
from him
Yeah. And I
and everybody
think
else.
that that's. See, Vorin approached it in a way that.
Hey,
Hi, son. So Vorin approached that conversation in a way that it was like the only thing that I could relate to you right now is on the fact that we both almost died. I don't know how you're feeling right now because it's not the same. But I'll tell you how I felt or how I not getting any sleep, you know? And hopefully that would have kind of mended or at least soothed out that situation a bit to the point that she would have at least listened. Because I don't think there is a right answer. I don't think there was, and I think that that's what the challenge was, you know. But hi Sin, I'm gonna put your picture up now.
sorry, I didn't mean to be late. I
It's
was
okay.
absorbed.
It's okay. We
And
haven't gotten to like all of your fun stuff yet. So
Okay.
But so we're at this conversation now that happened at the table. Based on so I asked Light how the conversation between Celeste and Magpie differed from the conversation of Celeste and Vorin, and she basically said it was the approach. Vorin caught her off guard. And Magpie saying, "Oh, you're doing what I'm doing, or what I do," wasn't the right approach. How do you?
Oh yeah, I can see that.
How do you think that that well from like OOC perspective, how do you think they differed in as far as Celeste accepting the conversation went?
Oh, the difference between the Magpie conversation and Bricks. I kind of feel like even though Magpie tried to come at it as I think one part of their approach might have been she was the first one to do it.
Right.
So since she was the first one to do it, I think maybe Celeste was like, "Oh, now they want to talk to me,"
right?
Type of deal, right? You know, so
like she did make it easier for Vorin.
I think she did, yeah. She got so Celeste got the lash out, you know, with her anger of the situation. And I think Magpie was kind of like the catalyst for that.
That's a very good point. I didn't actually think about that.
And I feel like when she left and Vorin caught her off guard, I think maybe she had like a second to think like, well, maybe she was thinking like, oh, you know, maybe I came in too strong. Or she was, I don't know, she was probably contemplating a whole bunch of different things.
Right. At least the train of thought was started already.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I actually like that perspective. So then how do you feel about that? Like, what do you think?
Oh, how that happened? Just like that?
Yeah, like on how Sin just said that he saw it. Does that make any sense?
It makes sense. It does. But at the same time, you don't know what she's.
I know you're not
really
gonna give us anything. Yeah.
Nah.
So then we had the conversation. So we were just, when you joined us, we were just at the point that we were discussing how Victor came at it from the understanding or the comparison to he knows villains, right? He knows bad people. And then Vorn also, tried to say the same thing. It's like I've been in that situation with shitty people, and they're always going to do what they want to do. Because I completely agreed. And I think it just comes down to the point that I told Light there was no right answer. And what happened. And then we just move forward because there was no better alternative, I don't think.
I think Brick's approach was the best approach. It was like right in the middle. Like it had, well, one, I feel like he almost died as well.
Right.
In that same, couple episodes. So his experience. Plus he came in it from the middle of like caring, which is something Victor probably wouldn't do.
Yeah, I think,
or he would do poorly.
I think Victor would be a lot more logic driven.
He is
Yeah.
painfully so, like almost to the point like it's weird. It's like this with Victor. It's like decisions that he makes for himself, like he tries to justify with logic, and without like taking into account necessarily the feelings of others to justify that he's right. But he is quick to
act on his emotions.
Act on his own feelings. Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. Because I think Vorn has always tried to be a person that helps because people helped him growing up. Like even though he was abandoned or whatever, there were people that were there for him. They took him in, cared for him, gave him a home. So that gives him a different view of things, of like passing it forward in any way that he can. So caring is something that he tries to do. He does it cautiously, of course, but I love the idea of I don't mean this in a bad way, but like Victor being almost hypocritical.
Oh yeah.
To the way he operates versus the way that he deals with others.
Oh, absolutely. And when it comes to him, he's a very self-centered individual.
Yeah.
That's slowly he's also manipulative as well. But he's also slowly coming around.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, to what extent we'll find out, I suppose. But I was going to say, so when it comes to the approach of the villain, he was just like, well, I'm going to think what I would do if I was in that situation. I've seen people do these types of things. And I know that, the goody-goodies going to try everything they can to save, so-and-so. And that's how you get what you want, right? If you don't care about that, you have an advantage. And so Victor's like trying to say, like, look, some of these people are going to put us in some tight spots.
Mm-hmm.
And we can make things worse for ourselves if we don't act, right? So I don't know, but he was also second guessing himself a little bit too there. He didn't know exactly what that thing did. So he was kind of like, maybe that was the wrong choice. Maybe he should have just gave it up.
I think we all were, because of the lack of knowledge. We made a decision, but we probably will never know if it was the right decision or if it was worth it, because we knew why we did it, is because we thought that was the only card we had to play. She could kill her and still get the gem, So it was like, wait a minute, we're holding on to this one thing that you want. You have what we want. It's like, let her fucking go.
Well, see, that's the one thing that's really bothering Victor and has bothered Victor from day one, is the group or himself is never calling the shots on anything. There's always someone else that's stronger. There's always someone else that pretty much stops. So it stops, I guess, ideas or potential things or shenanigans that the group could get up to. Victor's, I guess he's also testing like how the powers of everybody and all this. I know it's kind of a little off topic, but he really hates not being in control or having some semblance of it.
Yeah. And I think that that's kind of been a common issue this whole time. It's like we're always being reactionary. Most of the time we have no fucking idea what's going on. We're just being reactionary. We can't be proactive in any situation. And it sucks. It really does. For Vorin, it does as well because of how because of who he is. He's a well-planned individual. And it bothers him in the same way that like his OCD bothers him, is not having control of a certain situation. It's like, fuck. And I think that that's kind of where he was losing it at the vacation house, but we'll get there at some point. So Light, what kind of impact did the villain aspect that Sin's discussing, or that Victor brought up, what kind of impact did that make on Celeste?
Did she hear that? I don't know if she heard that conversation. Did she? Oh no, yes she did. Yes, she did.
Yeah, because you mentioned it once more when she came in.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Good question.
Let's see. What can I?
Yeah, if you don't want to tell us, it's fine. But
I mean, the one thing is, from the other episode 10, I had, her little monologue, and she did say, I think at one point, was maybe I should leave them because, in her head, she was getting talked to, and the whole situation that our parents are still alive.
Yeah. She was given something shitty to think about and something positive to think about from the same source. Like, fucking with her head.
Yeah. So, yeah. It's interesting with Celeste. It's very interesting. There's a lot of things that's going through her head, but the island, which I know we'll get to that point. Like, you guys got to see her relax a little bit. So
yeah. She was open to talking, and even though I do still think that she has closed herself off a bit, because that doubt is doing it, but it's natural. The difference for example, the difference for me as Vorin is like his struggle with himself is the fact that he accepted death so easily. He did not fight. And now he's wondering what's wrong with me that I'm willing to die so easily. But I saw my friends fighting for me, which is different than what Celeste was experiencing. She was dying while we were bartering.
Yeah.
And so it's a different experience. And that's why he didn't touch that part of the conversation. He just expressed to her how he feels right now from almost dying.
It's like, it's weird because when I made this character, I made her to basically help you guys, and I put a background to her and everything, but as we continue to play, some of your guys' background almost links with hers, in a way of, you know, two you guys were orphanage. You were, basically tossed out as
Right.
children, right? She's been on her own since she was 10 years old, by herself, traveling all over the world.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's where it's different than everyone else.
and she's a lady, but she doesn't put herself as, in ladyhood, like, well, Victor, who is a lord, and he has said it, and I got papers to prove it. And but your family, she's also a lady, but she is more, even though she has that grace, that style, but she will get into a fight kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it's like little tiny little things here and there that's almost, you guys are really almost linked to each other. And her actually finding people that are connected, that that voice that everybody's heard, keep each other safe. This might be a little spoiler, has maybe found a group of friends. But for that moment, that second where her life was leaving, yeah, like you said, it was haunting her.
Yeah. Because she doubted it.
So yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I think it is. It's really cool. But then after that conversation, we managed to kind of calm things down a bit and at least commingle for a little bit. The captain decided to give us a couple of days off, which was very nice because we all almost died.
Yes.
And I don't. Nobody knows what her next plan is. Like, we're just with the captain. How long has it been since we left Felu, you think?
Let's see. I think you guys are going on 3 weeks.
Okay, so we're
It's probably close to a month, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So we still have
Or maybe a
long
little
way.
more. Or maybe a little more.
I
How long
think-
did it take us to get to that temple? It was a couple weeks.
About a couple weeks, because I know there's times where I go, okay, like 3 days pass, a couple
Yeah.
days pass, and I always give you guys, I always tell you heads, like, what do you want to do within these 3 or 4 days? Because at the same time, when we do day by day, I will probably just go ahead and go to sleep.
No,
just like,
yeah. It's hard to
know.
get story moving along on
Yeah.
a daily.
Yeah. And the one thing is, fun fact, this vacation was just, I did on the fly. So, haha.
Well, that's good improv because it went well.
It did.
And
It did.
I guess we can get to that now. On the ship, we took a portal that we still don't
Yes.
really know how that happened.
No, because y'all were in the tavern.
Yeah, and we were told that we were just going to be there.
Yep. And hopefully nobody has portal sickness. But hey, nobody had portal sickness, so that's good.
Nobody. No, at least not this time. We were all freshly cured from a hangover.
Except for Magpie, she did dump out the thing.
Oh, Magpie.
Which don't worry.
Oh.
Shit knows.
Oh.
Spoilers. La 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 la. Anyways.
The ship knows. We gotta get shirts that say that. So we make it to the ship. The captain is eager to just put up her feet. She gets off the ship. She goes, and she starts her vacation very quickly.
Yep.
The rest of us are a little taken aback by the whole thing. We're very curious. We get to the house. Everybody picks a room. Some make it a bigger deal than others. And then the shenanigans begin.
But before the island is actually guarded or surrounded by these crystals. And the island itself is very unique. It has white sand and it glitters. And, you see the palm trees, and then you go further in, and it's more like jungle, forest kind of thing. But yeah, just to kind of put your guys, point
Yeah,
of view.
and tell us about the house, because it's a beautiful house.
It's a gorgeous house, very unique, especially during this, I guess, time frame, because it's, you don't see a glass house. You don't see it out and open, but it's a glass house in the middle of a jungle kind of thing, or an island, which is a small island. Um, and when you go inside, it feels like you are either walking in a museum or a vault, because there's all kinds of different paintings and statues and trinkets and little things here and there. And some of the items are kind of connected to some people, which Warren found with a diamond shape with an eye in it, which that goes along with his background. And he points out to Magpie and Minerva seeing the painting of two females that are very close to the moon goddesses kind of thing. And the moons itself seems to be just real, a little too real. But yeah, that's the captain's house.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. A lot of trinkets and stuff that immediately set off Warren's OCD. But it's not that the place is messy, because the place is very neat, but an adjustment here and there isn't gonna hurt anybody. And except somebody's undoing his work unbeknownst to him and making it worse than what it was. But we'll get to that after. Somebody on this call currently has a brilliant idea. Sin, do you want to tell us about about what and why?
Oh, well. So, I think Victor. So I think above table. I wanted just to do something interesting on the island. Something that wouldn't get Victor too much in trouble. I was like, well, what can he do that could be kind of fun? And so I was like, oh, well, I guess you'd want to kind of try to test out, one of his abilities that he just got. Also, too, character-wise, he wanted to, well, I guess he wanted to test the limits of his magic and see what he could discover. And I think he discovered actually quite a lot, even though at least a little bit about the captain. So that's why he went on a journey of discovery and trickery.
Yeah, I think it for Victor especially, I think it was multi-purpose, and it served its purposes, because for those that could see or that were paying attention, which I guess for the most part would be him, there's the captain has a lot going on that we don't know. It's either abilities or just knowledge, or feats or something. But the fact that she was unfazed and unsurprised by any of it is like,
Victor was caught completely off guard, because he knew that there's pretty much almost no way for anyone to spot it, based off of the nature of the spell. And when she spotted it, that was like, okay, well, what is the captain? How strong is the captain? Like that's like some serious shit for her to instantly just know that it was him. Right? There's not many things out there that have true sight, and Victor would know that, right? He would know something's up. So I think it's going to be a mystery for him, but he knows he can't really explore it, because there ain't nothing on that ship that the captain does not know about.
Mm-hmm.
There's no privacy whatsoever. Probably even on the Victor is paranoid. He feels like he can't even like wipe his ass without someone seeing him do something, right? So,
Well, good thing he doesn't eat.
I know, right?
Oh no, but he does. He
No,
can
he
eat.
does.
Oh, he does
yeah,
eat. He
yeah.
does. Oh, yeah, he does eat. Yeah.
He does eat. Yeah,
yeah.
sillies.
No, but
I mean, the one thing is, you got to remember from the captain's. I mean, the captain should know who's on the boat. It's her crew. Yes, it's a vessel, which I said, that even the ship is on vacation because it was bouncing up and down in the water.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been an interesting sight to see. But and the one thing is, yeah, when Victor Wren came and approached her, haha, you see, you caught it when I said, it's like she removed her hat, she looked up and said, "No, don't start, not with me. I'm on vacation." And putting her hat back over. So, but at the same time, she can hear, she can listen.
I think the better
And
name
yeah.
would have been Brichter.
Victor.
Victor, there you go. Yeah.
So, out of context, we started coming up with names for every time that Victor turned into somebody. It was just a fun little game we were having. But with that said, so you were unsuccessful with the captain, but you did learn something. So I guess I wouldn't say unsuccessful.
Yeah. I mean, he had some plans. He was like, I'll go mess around with the captain a little bit and just see what, But she just knew immediately, and that shocked the shit out of him. He was like, "What? Okay, all right, well,
Next.
don't mess with the captain." Yeah.
So then after that, what did you do?
Oh gosh. Oh, what did he do first? So he went to go talk to Magpie first. Yeah,
Still
so-
as Brichter.
Yes, as Brichter. He went to talk to Magpie. He was thinking about being mischievous, but he was thinking the entire time of how this could turn around and bite him in the ass and cause some sort of drama in the group. So he was like, I'll take it easy.
Hashtag not worth it.
Hashtag just, yeah, it's not worth it. He gets called for everything. There's not a thing that he doesn't get called for. And he was like, well, I have the one ability that no one will catch me. And so he was like, having a little fun with it. But also he was like, well, I'll reveal myself eventually, and I don't want to do anything that would make people too angry. Right?
Yeah,
So he wanted to kind of just test the waters with Magpie. And then he was trying to figure out about the conversation you two had to see how useful he would be at snooping info from people. That's why he asked about the conversation to Brick later on as Euphemia Victor. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So we'll stop there at Magpie. Do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, I think that was kind of interesting because she did mention, or she did give the information about that we were looking at the painting, I guess, but she didn't say anything. And I'm wondering if it was the other way around, if Voren would have been like the fucking painting, like like annoyed, like giving you the information. But she didn't. Because I'm curious to know what that would have led to, like with you having that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, who knows? I guess there's other times for you to figure that out.
Yeah. It's challenging. It's challenging to try to pull these type of deceptions. It's just very challenging because you got to get everything just right? Like the mannerism. So he was like, this is the first one that he tried on was Magpie, and so he was trying to just be as nonchalant as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but he did give her like a good little bit at the end, like that was kind of reassuring to her because she said, "Good job with what was it, Celeste?" And then he was like, "It wasn't me, it was all of us," kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when I
So
was in my chat. I was like, "Fuck that! It was me." No, but no, that was kind of nice, and I think that actually said a little something about Victor, like over the table, that nobody fucking knows. But I wonder if she'll ask because now we know that it was you going around fucking with the people.
yeah, I don't know if she saw that at the end because she was off by herself for
Yeah.
Oh, she
a good
was.
bit.
She wasn't part of the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Interesting.
like she was down the beach a good ways, I think. But
She was down the beach a good ways, and I'm trying to remember if she actually just left.
Yeah, I think
oh, she went to
'Cause-
explore.
Oh
That's
no,
right.
no, no, yeah, no. It was when your invisible time. We'll go on.
Oh yeah,
That'll be
yeah.
a little bit later. Yeah. But she was, in my opinion, she wasn't paying attention. She was more focused on the ocean because she did say that a couple times
She was.
Yeah.
that she was looking out. So
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
You almost got
And
caught a couple
then-
times.
Oh, you think he got caught?
No,
Almost got caught?
I said I thought you almost got caught with Minerva, but
Well,
she was
I
like,
think Magpie knew something. Well, she sensed something was wrong, right?
yes, because it was like insight, and she had a good insight check, but at the same time, because of the disguise, it would have been, I think, if she would have asked you the right questions, then she will definitely have like known, wait a second, this is not him.
that's
But
the
at the same
thing.
time, yeah, because in
Mhm.
he had, I mean, you had a low deception, but at the same time, it's just it's almost like a clash with each other, right? Because it's
Mhm.
like, well, it looks like Warren, sounds like Warren, but there's something off,
Yeah,
and I just can't pinpoint it.
yeah. It's like
Yeah,
it's hard
so-
to think about something that you can't imagine. You know, like it. This isn't really a possibility right now, so why would it be in my mind? And I think it's the same thing with Vorn inside fixing shit. In any other day, or like in a combat scenario, or any day that he's being attentive, I feel like even my passive perception would have picked up Nyx, you know, but
Yeah.
I wasn't looking, and that I think that's the same point that you just made. Is like I wasn't looking, I wasn't paying attention to that type of thing because why would that be a thing? So it's like it's easy to be lied to or deceived.
And I think it's also, like I said, it would have been, I guess, if he was there about a lot longer, or the more questions. It's the same thing like if you were going to try to sneak into a castle and dress up as a guard and you have all that stuff. It's like you would definitely need to study that person because one wrong question could end your life, kind of thing.
And I think that
You know?
that's where he was successful, was like he made the interactions quick and he just left.
Yep.
Because the more you give, the more you're going to give incorrectly.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really cool. And then I was fucking laughing my ass off the entire time.
So was I.
So you lied to Brick and pretended to be Euphemia, was it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He passed Euphemia, and then he turned into Euphemia.
Oh god, the spirits.
And actually, yeah, he did the spirits. That was it.
Oh man.
I was looking for stuff. I was like, "Ooh, what could I do?"
That was
like,
so funny. And again, I think if it hadn't been because Brick was just stressed out at this moment, like by this point, he would have questioned. Like, she's never done that. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
She's never dropped to her knees and started talking to the spirits. But it was so good.
I think that's what made it even more dramatic, right?
Mhm.
Like everybody knows that she can, see spirits, talk to spirits, and then all of a sudden this randomly starts happening, and it coincides with all the things crooked on the wall, right? It's
Yeah.
like perfect.
And what's funny is like I also play Laura, who is a ghost that's with her,
Attached to her, yeah.
and the one thing is she would definitely know the whole conversation, what Victor and Femia had, so she would know. But to have because eventually you did make your way to the beach to find to find Victor, because the whole like, oh, he's in trouble kind of thing. So from a ghost point of view, going, there's no ghost here, there's no demons, there's no spirits, there's no all this stuff, and she just gave Vorn a hug, what her teddy bear did, so that kind of calmed him a little bit, because it's just like, how like somebody kind of touches you, reassures you, even though it's a spirit or a ghost. He kind of felt something, but at the same time, his blood pressure's already going.
Yeah, it's just like a brief interruption in the anxiety.
Yeah.
Oh wait, before that, it was Minerva.
It was Minerva, yeah.
Yeah, and that was interesting too.
That was funny as hell. I really wanted you to just go up there and start going through Euphemia's
He was going to.
clothes.
He was going to. Yeah, but she didn't want to take the bait on it, so Victor didn't want to push. But he seen that she was carrying a book on the way, so that's how he kind of entered in back to the scene of saying, "Oh, I'm getting a book." And then he was also trying to, give compliments to himself at the same time.
Oh, Victor. Oh man, but yeah, it was great. The confusion that Minerva experienced, like, I'm glad I wasn't the only one, because she was very confused when she saw Euphemia at the beach, and then she it took her a while too to bring it up, but like she instantly thought it was weird, but eventually she asked, and I think it was clever on the fact that you brought Euphemia into it, because she would have definitely looked into it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the ultimate goal was, as I saw more and more people were going to the beach, it was like, okay, I'm gonna get everybody to the beach and then do the reveal kind of
Nice.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's about the time, like, when the whole spirits thing, I was like, well, we'll get everybody to the beach.
Fucking Glenn.
Yeah. He did that just to piss off Warren, honestly.
Which it's funny because I said I'm going to make a roll, and it was like around 40. If it was over 50, Glenn would have showed up.
Oh, it'd been hilarious.
Oh man, that would have been funny.
2 Glens on the beach.
He's the imposter. No, he's the imposter.
I was kind of hoping for that scenario to
Like
kind
an
of play out.
Among Us scenario.
Yeah.
Oh god, that would have been funny. I think it's easy to prove. Well, I don't know. I was like, it's easy to prove that I'm me. I don't know.
Is it?
What is it though?
I'm
Quick
not-
question: how many people are now scared that Victor's able to do this?
Well, I mean, it's
I think it's gonna be harder to get away with it now.
yeah.
Well, he's not going to do anything with the group. He just wanted the group to know that, hey, I can do this.
Yeah, Vorn's fucking impressed.
But you never know when a doppelganger actually enters the real party, right?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It could happen.
Yeah, no, that's it's pretty awesome. So eventually, you reveal to yourself, and
Mhm.
everybody, well, Euphemia has a laugh. Minerva's just there stuffing her face. And Vorn's having kind of a mental breakdown because there's a demon in the house or something. And well, Victor helps him with the invisibility thing, But that did not work out for us.
Oh yeah.
It was a good plan though.
No, it was a very good plan. That's another little spell that he had picked up as well, and he wanted to try it out.
And then ultimately, we didn't figure out that it was Nyx.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Because yeah.
So in my character's mind, there's still something wrong with the house.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because a couple of times mentioned, well, let's talk to the captain.
And it was
Victor was
dismissed.
like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even like Celeste, she finally came down, joined the group, and she was in a bathing suit, comfortable for the first time in a while, kind of thing. And she even said, like, when she talked to the captain. But yeah. So that to me, that was interesting.
Yeah, and I think one of the speaking of Celeste, one of the only moments this whole time that Voren got to take a breather was just sitting by her, waiting for somebody to fall into Victor's trap. Because that was the only moment he got to breathe since he arrived.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of nice. They didn't really say a lot. They were just sitting there. But that was like the first time it was a vacation for Voren.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think you guys were waiting for 30 minutes, and within that 30-minute time frame, that's when Magpie decided to go out on her own. And Celeste was like, well, maybe we should go check. And she got up and like took the towel or the blanket and got the egg back in the sack, and they walked towards a glass house, which they didn't see the captain, but they did see Keys chilling there. And
the smell of lunch.
The smell of lunch was like, being made. And then went on to Magpie and her kind of small little adventure, which she saw Glenn and Meg and the dwarf and the halfling, which nobody has asked for the name yet. And eventually found a cave. And she walked through the cave, and in this cave there was some spiral stairs that she went down, and this huge circle door that had a ship, and in the background there was like a mountain range / island. Then she saw the ocean, which saw some sharks, some fish, a mermaid, and like these tentacles that were kind of coming out. And as she asked the question, I wonder if the island and the ship are the same. As she touched the ship, the door opened, and it was like a long hallway with, like the same thing as the beach on the bottom. And what she saw was basically she was underwater, kind of like SeaWorld kind of thing. And at the end, she saw like a table, like a white table, and then she saw the captain. And I end it there.
But was it really the captain, or was it a doppelganger captain?
Was it Sin?
I mean, Sin was invisible.
Yeah.
Up the steps somewhere.
And wasn't Euphemia like sitting on him or some shit?
Oh yeah, put her legs. So she was like her legs were foot. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I wonder what that's about. In my head,
right?
I'm thinking about like when the like Power Rangers first see Zordon, and, and it's like, where the fuck are we?
Right.
So that's gonna be interesting. Like, she saw the captain. Why is the captain there? And what's happening?
Who knows?
But yeah, it was
find out.
It was a very fun session with all the mischief and tension, because there was some good tension in the beginning. So there was a bit of everything. It was fun to come back to after our week off.
Oh yeah. Victor, just be glad Victor decided to behave.
I didn't think he
Oh,
was.
He
well,
had some thoughts.
I thought he was gonna
had
Oh,
start
some-
yeah.
like flirting with like people, just so that like to put that like inception of a thought in somebody's mind and then make it
Uh-huh.
awkward between other people. I was like, this is gonna go so badly.
Well, also, he was like, before all that, before, because the mention of the island, he was kind of poking fun at Euphemia. Like, well, I get my sacrificial tools ready and I'll, do this and that. So that probably stressed her out a little bit,
Yeah.
maybe.
What are we gonna do? But yeah, I think that about covers episode 11. I'm excited to see where we go from here and what the hell this captain is hiding. So full of mystery.
So much mystery.
Yeah.
What are you
And
talking about? She's on her island chilling.
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Mhm.
We'll see. We're probably prisoners now. Now we're never gonna leave this island. It's like the fucking what is it in the Odyssey? The island that the people can't.
The sirens.
Yeah. Now we're stuck here, and we're gonna be
I
turned
mean,
into
if
pigs.
she wanted to kill you, you all been dead already.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah,
Enjoy your vacation.
thank you guys for coming on and hanging out for a bit. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we wrap up, Lady DM?
No.
No.
Well, like I told M9 earlier, Sin, all that was improv on the spot, vacation time.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was a good
Great.
pivot.
We'll see where it leads.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for hanging out and watching, and we will see you next Sunday at 6:30 p.m. if all things allow. There's people that have been having some crazy weather. Light just had an earthquake. I think we're
Yeah.
supposed to be getting snow, so I hope like internet's not an issue. But yeah, we'll see. Just stay tuned, and we will see you next Sunday, or for the recap next Monday.
Sounds good.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Adios.